As I believe we're all aware, the fencing materials market has been a bit chaotic over the last year and a half. So to try to answer how we got here, where we even are, and when it might get better, I brought on Tony Thornton, who is the executive director of the American Fence Association, to talk about his latest report of the state of the industry for the fence installation industry. Now, this was a pretty long interview. It lasted a little bit over 3 hours. So we actually have cut it down into shorter snippets for each individual segment of the fencing industry. In this segment, Tony and I discuss agricultural fencing. Has it been impacted as much as the other sectors? Where are we as far as the impact goes? And is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Guys, as always, if you find this content helpful or educational, go ahead and give it a like. Also, did you know that 94% of the people watching this video right now aren't subscribed? That means there's a pretty good chance that you're not subscribed. Take a quick minute and look right below this video. If that button is red, hit subscribe, and when you do, hit that notification bell so that YouTube lets you know each and every week when we have new content available. All right, with all that being said, let's dig in to this week's segment. This is Joe Everest, the fence expert. My family's been perfecting their way of building fence for over 60 years, 3 generations. While there's more than one way to build a fence, I'm here to share with you our way. So, Tony, when we're talking about fencing industry, the state of the fencing industry, I think we need to talk about one of what could be the largest portions, which is the agricultural. And when I say largest portions, in terms of probably total foot installed of fencing, it's got to be the ag market. What do you think?
I agree 100%.
So what is the state of the agricultural sector of the fencing industry?
Well, the unique thing about the ag industry, what I used to call farm and ranch on the smaller scale of things, I got educated on that. Thank you to my good friends in the agricultural market. Basically accumulates everything that we've been talking about. It's the wood market, it's the steel market, it's the fittings market, it's everything, additive pieces, hinges, you name it, okay? It's everything inclusive. So everything that we've talked about with the wood market, the challenges there, we're seeing that with the pressure-treated material posts, you know, that these ag professionals are installing. We're seeing the challenges from the steel post market where, you know, the challenges for steel, they can't get the product. A lot of the movement from wood post type agricultural fencing is moving to more of a steel post driven type market. It's prevalent. It's happening right now. So again, the demands in both of those areas has been some of the biggest challenge. My peers are telling me that the smaller order quantities of fabric is pretty much readily available. The big challenge is when you need 30 miles of fabric or, you know, larger, like DOT, Department of Transportation on the interstates. Those are our big challenges for the ag market in getting not only the steel or not only the pressure treated posts for the bays and the trussing and all those, but it's the fabric that, you know, production or producers have to handle from a manufacturing perspective. On top of those components and everything else we've talked about with the other pieces comes the container and transportation issues, which we're going to get into here more specifically, you know, in a short time. But, you know, delivery time on large orders is actually smaller than a lot of the other things that we've been talking about. These producers can actually get that product turned around in 10 to 12 weeks, where most everything I've been sharing with you in the other markets is 12, 14, 16 to 20 weeks. Yeah. So there are some good things happening in that particular area because they use such variances of products, and it's not the high demands that's in the chain link and the high demands in the wood and other segments of our industry.
That makes sense. So what I'm hearing, Tony, is they're kind of getting it from both sides. They're getting it from the wood side, but they're also getting it from, you know, what we were talking about with chain link. The wire rod is probably a huge issue in the wire. Then of course we talked about steel tube as well. So they're getting hit from kind of both industries, supply issues in both of those industries, both wood and the chain link pipe and tube market.
Exactly.
Interesting.
I think the ag market was probably better positioned with inventory from manufacturers and not suppliers, but manufacturers that produce the wire, the fabric, and that's why they can ship that sooner or quicker. But yet the challenges are real for the wood and for the steel because that particular area of of the inventory ramp up was not there.
Gotcha. Well, and just thinking this through, and I don't build agricultural fence, so I might be completely off base, but I would have to think that those manufacturers are set up for just large quantity manufacturing, because we're talking about a project that could be 15 miles when, an average commercial chain link project might be 1,000 foot, a couple thousand foot.
Well, another very important piece to consider is that you think about how much rod it takes to weave, 2¼ inch, 6 foot, 11.5 gauge fabric, right? Look at how much steel we have in 1 foot. Okay. Now let's take a 1 foot piece of agricultural fabric.
Sure.
It's a lot less rod. It's a lot less steel, but yet they still have the challenge of getting that rod to make that, but it's a lot less. So the quantity of needs for the agricultural market to manufacture fabric is a lot less demanding than it is on the chain link side. So you got to take those type of things into consideration. It's simple math if you really look at it. Some people just, kind of overlook things like that.
Yeah, but no, that makes sense. I hadn't even thought about that. So it would take less supply to manufacture a foot of their product versus, like you said, a 10-foot 6-gauge chain link.
Exactly.
It makes sense. So what I'm hearing is that the agricultural market might be, while they're still feeling it, the effects of this might be in a little bit better shape than, say, the vinyl, wood, ornamental, or chain link sectors.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. Well, Tony, thank you. I appreciate you compiling your report of the agricultural sector and how they're being affected by the current pandemic that we're in.
Now, guys, as I said in the beginning, this is a multi-part series. We took about a 3-hour live interview and cut it into separate snippets and categories for different styles of fence. If you haven't watched the other videos, be sure to watch them now. And also, if you found this content helpful or educational, please consider giving a like. It really helps our channel, and it's absolutely free on your end. But for now, I'm Joe Everest, the fence expert, reminding you that good fences make good neighbors. And we'll see you next time.